Yo guys, my name is Minekreft and finally welcome back once again to another Minecraft building tutorial video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build this huge medieval fantasy style mage tower that you guys have been requesting for quite some time. Just bear in mind you will be fed up with my voice by the end of this video, but nevertheless, let's get down to building. Right guys, so we are about ready to start today's tutorial video. Just take a look at the sheer size of this tower. It's going to take me hours to put this together. So show your support and thumbs up this video. Right guys, let's start things off with some stone brick. We're going to create a circle. We have 1 and 2, corner 1 and 2. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, corner 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 1. There's a lot of counting to do, so let's get to work. Continue with some tower. Now notice I'm placing 4 blocks back to the building. We're going to grab some cobblestone stairs and, as I said, we're going to fill up each gap with them. Just easy guys, nothing complicated about this. Let me know in the comments below though if you like this kind of recording. I think it's a bit more fun, definitely something different, and I quite enjoy it too, so hopefully you guys find this a little bit more entertaining and not too monotonous and boring like some of my older tutorial videos. But yeah, we're practically done here. The next step should be relatively easy too. All you have to do is raise the platform by an extra block. Don't place any blocks on top of the cobblestone stairs, just place cobblestone on cobblestone and stone brick on top of stone brick. It's really simple guys, not too complicated, just one extra layer of cobblestone and stone brick. So next up we do have some cobblestone stairs, just simply placing them right on top of these cobblestone pillars, making your way right around the tower. Notice when we get to the corners, make sure you just place them in this formation. So next up, it's back to some more cobblestone, just placing 3 extra blocks right behind each of the cobblestone stairs. Again, this is a relative... Yo guys, what is up? My name is Minekreft and welcome to another epic Minecraft mega project. Super excited for this video where you guys have challenged me to try and build the tallest, most epic Minecraft tower ever. In order to get this project underway, we have to start the tower's construction from bedrock level, because as you guys may already know, Minecraft's max height is only 256 blocks, which may not seem like much, but you'll be surprised to see what kind of projects you can create when taking Minecraft to the absolute limit. So without further ado, sit back, relax, enjoy, and give that like button some love, and let's begin today's fantasy-packed adventure, building from bedrock to the heavens above. Now the main objective right now is to transform the landscape to a point where we can obviously start building from bedrock. I'll be jumping onto World's Painters to get this done, but right now I have literally no idea what the theme of this build is going to entail. So I'll make some changes later on based on what kind of tower we construct, as well as the theme colors we're going to use. Right guys, so here we go, ready for a quick start, gliding down to the bottom of this all new crate. Whatsoever, and what a terrible decision that was, as I soon realized I made the base of the tower way too large to make it work with the 256 block limit we had available. So let's take a step back, rewind, and actually do a little bit of research before jumping into building. Well, that was a total waste of 5 hours building, but heck, this time round, I made sure to get those measurements as perfect as possible, even doing some sketches of my own and getting ideas from Google Images. I also marked out the space we had available to make sure I wouldn't make any mistakes dividing the tower into 3 segments: base, middle, and roof. So the base now has a limit of only 54 blocks, mainly built using stone brick, cobblestone, with purple as the main theme color. At this point, I finally decided what was going to inspire me into building this tower. And And so I decided to focus this project around magic and wizardry, attempting to build a gigantic fantasy-style mage tower, and straight after jumped into transforming the landscape once again, this time with plans of adding giant mushrooms later on in the video. Now the great thing about building a tower is the fact that all sides can be symmetrical, but for a tower of this size, yeah guys, we definitely need to add a few more extras. Now I really love magic and mages in general. I'm actually focusing on building a Kirin Tor style tower. The Kirin Tor is actually a group of mages who specialize in cataloging and researching spells and pretty much anything to do with magic. So almost halfway up the tower, I decided to build the Kirin Tor symbol. So yeah, leave your Illuminati suggestions in the comments below. I'm expecting that. So we're now 125 blocks above bedrock. We've still a long way to go, but I actually decided to build something rather unique by separating the second half of the tower and have it levitate, but still split between a spiral staircase. Now this started a huge debate with one of my best friends, trying to decide whether to have the building levitate or to actually connect the building into one solid piece. It was really just a 50-50 decision, but in the end I decided to keep the floating building and just make the tower look a bit more magical. So let me know what you guys prefer by voting up on the top right corner. And so we continue our way up the tower with a total construction time worth over 24 hours, building by far the tallest tower I have ever created. And still it would be amazing if Mojang actually increased the height limit of 256 blocks. But for now, I finally reached the top of the map with just enough space to start introducing the roof. Not a fan of pink, but definitely the best available block to use that actually goes well with the rest of the tower. So finally we finish off the building with some extra details, also including flags and an extra tower right on the side of the second half. Now with just one block left above the tower, I created a selection of designs to add that extra element of magic. There was not much left to do but the addition of those giant mushrooms I promised at the start of the video, and a big shout out goes to Lent Appreciate for providing a selection of mushrooms which were completely compatible with World Painter. With that done and the mushrooms in place, I finally present to you my 256 block tall Kirin Tor inspired Mage Tower.
The roots will heal in time, as will the entire world. The sacrifices have been made. Just as the orcs, humans, and night elves discarded their old hatreds and stood united against a common foe, so did nature herself resolve to banish the shadow forever. As for me, I came back to ensure that there would be a future, to teach the world that it no longer needed guardians.
Recently, I've had a lot of people asking how I build and requesting a video on the topic. My name is Oscar, and today I'm going to share with you some of my building tips and tricks to help take your creations to the next level. In front of me, I've laid out a selection of different blocks I incorporated into these building tricks. I've gotten most of these blocks from 1.14, such as the lantern, the campfire, the lectern, that I've decided to use in some building ideas, as well as some of the more OG blocks that you maybe didn't think of using before. Anyway, let's get into things, shall we? So I've got them all laid out like this nicely for you all. These blocks I'm going to work on incorporating into builds. These dead coral blocks that I have at the back here, I'm planning on using and mixing into stone and cobblestone to add some more variety. These are the OG blocks that I was talking about. Basically just making use of banners, anvils, iron fences, signs, and then obviously using some gates and trapdoors and buttons and whatnot. So first things first is this gate design. I've had a lot of people asking me how I made these gates. I've used them in all of my transformation builds where I've done this kind of arching effect, and I've done it here as well, as you can see. It's pretty easy, honestly. It's just the way that gates react when you place them next to walls. So when I place down a wall and then place a gate next to it, it will actually lower itself down, because normally you can see it's quite just that little bit higher. So if you place one next to a wall, it will lower it down a little bit, put one in between, put one on the other side, and then put a fence on the other side. And that's about it, to be honest. You can work this into different designs and whatnot. I mean, here you can see I've got it going around the corner. So I've got a wall, 2 gates, a fence, 2 gates, and then another wall. So it kind of makes this waving effect. It reaches up in the corner. But yeah, it's just a way to make your fence gates a little bit more interesting rather than just having it a straight fence. Anyway, that's that. Let's move on to the next thing. So we're going to start out with some simpler things. There will be some things in this that I'm sure that a lot of you will know, but I'm trying to cover all bases from beginner to difficult. So this is pretty simple, basically just using trapdoors as like shelves or makeshift shelves. You just stick them underneath the chests, and then you can also do the same thing by sticking chests in walls, and you can do stairs on top, and you can still open them as well, which is pretty neat. Well, I actually got this design from Felix in the Japanese house that he made, because he did it originally and then I used it on my transformation version of him. It's actually really useful. These trapdoors work really well with that Japanese style of building, I think, or Asian style of building. Anyway, I just thought it was really useful, and it's a way that you can use these trapdoors to decorate your house. Now getting on to something that's a little bit more interesting. So there might be a lot going on here, but the main stuff that I want to focus on is kind of just like basically mixing it.
Jij wil opvallen, altijd en overal. Overdag, maar ook in de avond, met jouw verschijning. Je weet wat je wilt en waar je van houdt. Dat maakt jou anders dan de rest. Dat zie je in alles. Ook met jouw e-bike. Dit is stilaan Livorno Gold Style.
The stone buttons I've got at the top and the bottom here, because it kind of looks like rivets going through the log, which is pretty nice. I've added some stone walls at the bottom here, some fence in between, a nice gate at the top to arch over. Another thing you can do with gates, I'll show you this later on, but gates, if you open them up like this, they actually make a really useful support beam, so let me show you that. You can kind of see it's like a support beam, and then it kind of goes inwards. It's just a different design again, you can change it over like that. It's using these blocks in the way that you didn't think they were meant to be useful. Anyway, apart from that, let's move on to the next thing. So I'm sure that you saw these in the distance from the previous shot, but I've got a bunch of lamp post designs here for you to check out. So the first one is this one. We've got stone at the bottom, a wall, a few fences, a cobblestone wall at the top, and then you can use some trapdoors. And then it's making use of this grindstone, which is actually really useful. I really like the way that this works with it. It's kind of like, because you can put these on any direction basically and make these supports actually connect to that block, so it's really useful, especially if you create something as if it's hanging down, which is really nice. Next design is kind of similar. These are all going to be the same or similar thing, but there's just different ways that you can go about it. Stone at the bottom, wall, fence, and then we've got a hopper on top of that. It just makes, it's a good transition, it fits perfectly on top of the fence, and then you can maybe go to a full block at the very top. I've added some signs around the back, and then some trapdoors on top, and then a lantern on top of that as well. This is a different design, just a few fences, cobblestone wall, trapdoor, and it's got an iron fence on top holding that, so it makes it look like it's hanging down longer, which is nice. Now this is my favourite design out of all of the lamp posts that I've got here. So it's actually the same thing going on here. I've got a wall, fence, wall, I've got the stone cutter there. I've surrounded it with some signs on either side and trapdoor on the back on top, and then I've got a grindstone hanging down with a lantern underneath it. I just really like how this one looks. It's got the animation of the stone cutter at the top there. I don't think the lampposts actually have that in real life, but I thought it looked pretty neat, so there's a cool way of So moving on, we've got a few more simple designs of wasting light in the area. So we've just got a wall, a grindstone on top, again because of these little supports on either side is really useful. and then a lantern sit on top. Now this is where things get a little bit more interesting. So at the very bottom, I don't know if you can see, but I've got a lectern at the very bottom, I've got a grindstone sitting on top, and then a lantern, and then I've just surrounded it with some trapdoors all the way around the side to cover up the mess of books and stuff. A similar design, just mixing it around a bit, basically putting the signs on either side and then trapdoors in the back and the front. Now we're done with the lanterns, it's time to move on to the campfires. So I've got the same design that we've got here. We've got a lectern underneath, trapdoors on either side, a sign on either side, and the campfire on top, which just makes for a torch, obviously. We've got a few more of those designs coming up here as well. So incorporating the lectern again, I've got the campfire sitting on top, some signs and trapdoors on either side. It just looks really unique, I think. And obviously this is the original without it's just the lectern and the campfire on top. But even that looks fine. That was up against the wall. That looks cool. I'm not sure if many people know this, I'm sure they do, but obviously the campfire is got the smoke animation up and snake like a picture, which is really cool. Also, a trapdoor here coming out to the side. Place the trapdoor down, leave that block. It will stop the smoke from over top of it like this, but by doing so, you can make it flush with these other blocks and still have enough space for the smoke to come up. So I just thought that was a really cool little feature which I wasn't aware of before. So you can really make a compact campfire design this way and have the smoke actually come out the chimney like in this one. So here I've just made a quick little makeshift house of what it could be or what it would be. Nothing too crazy going on here. I've got the campfire down there, just some cobblestone surrounding it, an iron fence is like the grate at the front, and we've got trapdoors here, some signs at the top just to decorate it a little bit more, just make it a little bit more unique. I've done the same thing here, so if you can see, it actually does travel all the way up inside. I've just got this trapdoor here, doing the same thing that I have here, basically placing it so it's flush with these two other blocks, but it's still leaving a gap in the middle so that the smoke can travel up. And so coming up to the top here, we've still got that one gap spot where the smoke is coming up from. So it's just a fireplace design basically that acts naturally with the smoke coming up and out the top. But there are other ways you can get around it as well. You don't have to have a gap, you can also do this design. So we've got the same thing going on here, we've got the fireplace, the smoke's travelling up, but it does stop with this block of cobblestone here, so the smoke doesn't travel up any higher. But to make a really compact design, we can have it so the cobblestone goes all the way to the top, and then we can just place another campfire at the top to make it seem like the smoke is travelling all the way up. And yeah, it makes a really compact design. So you have two different campfires, one at the bottom so the animation stops and then just continue at the very top. Coming into here, I've made this quick little kitchen design. I just wanted to show off different ways that you can use these blocks because I thought it was really interesting. We've got this little trapdoor at the front here, makes it look like a dishwasher almost. We've got a tripwire as a sink, that's quite a classic technique. We've got a banner on the wall that makes a good like makeshift hand towel or something, and then same goes for here. We've got one of the banner patterns on the wall in an iron frame. Up here along the tops we've got barrels placed as cabinets almost. They just make really cool cabinets and they're actually functional as well, which is useful. So here we've got two smokers and you have the smoke animation coming up through it. So what we've done here is actually place two campfires beneath it, and the smoke can travel past the smoker block and then up through to the ventilation system up there. Also what I've done here, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been playing with the floor design as well. So these aren't natural blocks, this is a blast furnace and this is polished andesite. It just mixes in to make a really unique, different looking checkered floor pattern. It's really useful for kitchens and stuff, I think. So at the top here we've got the ventilation system where the smoke gets chucked up into. We've got some stone and some stone slabs on either side. Using the new stone slabs is really useful. We've got some hoppers at the front here that are connected. They're like pipes, which is just, I like how that looks. A bit more of an industrial feel to it. And then we've got stone cutters on top of these iron trapdoors here, just because I like the pattern that it has here. It looks like little wooden support beams, which is really useful. And lastly but not least, we've got the ceiling design. I've added sea lanterns in as the light source, and then I've surrounded it with trapdoors and just used that as the main ceiling material. It's really useful just because it's not a full block, so you can get away with little edge features around the actual lighting, and it just means it doesn't take up any space, which is really useful. Moving on, I'm sure that a lot of you have seen this, but I just thought I'd cover it anyway. So we've got this lava pit here, and obviously the smoke animation, that's not natural. I'm sure that you already know how this works, but I'll show you it anyway. So all you need to do is you need to dig down a few blocks. You place in the campfire at the bottom so you get the smoke animation, and then you can place the lava on top so it'll keep the smoke animation going, but the lava will be visible. So that's all I've done here. I basically just scattered around a bunch of campfires underneath. To make the trails longer, like these ones here, I've added a hay bale underneath it. So if you have a regular campfire here, it will just chuck smoke up to a certain limit and cap it off. But if you put a hay bale underneath it, put a campfire on top, it will actually carry the smoke much further, as you can see here. In a lot of my transformation builds, I've been using these portal designs, where I make a circular portal, surround it in some stone, or embed it into a cliff face, or something like that. And I thought I wanted to show you a quick way that you can kind of get around it. So obviously, if you have welded it and creative, you can make a circular nether portal. That's just normal. But in regular survival or normal Minecraft, you can't actually do that. So ways you can get around it is just by making a square nether portal. So all I've got here is an 11 by 11 portal. By hiding it with some stone and using stairs and stuff like that to make this circular design, it looks like a circular portal, so you can get away with it. That's what I've done here. So if you look around the corners, you can see it's actually a square portal and it goes down to there. Anyway, it's just a really useful way of making a circular nether portal in survival. You can just hide it with the surrounding, or it doesn't have to be in a cliff face. You can hide it with whatever you want, but it's just a nifty little way that you can get around it. You just hide the actual frame inside the rock formation or whatever it is you're doing. Another thing I wanted to mention about this little build that I've got here, so I've added a lot of variation into it, I'm sure you can tell. I've actually got some, what would usually be stone and cobblestone, I've got that here. I've mixed in some mossy stone as well, but I'm using the dead core blocks just to add some variations to the grey, because if you use a lot of stone and cobblestone, it does get very repetitive and boring a lot of the time. So mixing these into the equation really adds a lot more texture. Look over here, you just see like this is the regular stone, it's just very bland. But mixing these in, it looks a lot better. I've done the same thing with the leaves here as well, so I'm using spruce and birch leaves to mix it in just to make it look a little bit nicer. So coming down here, we've got some more simple ideas, but they might be useful in your survival world, I thought. So using banners again, you can make this kind of and I also use these signs above the window to act as like a curtain rail, just because I thought it was a little bit more unique than just adding curtains on either side. Again, I've got another design here, it's the same thing, just a few banners placed down, and it makes a nice little curtain, so I thought that was a nice feature to add into it. So you're probably looking at this and freaking out because there's a lot of design going on in it, really. It's a lot to look at. The main thing that I did all of this for was to show you how adding depth to a build can help, like, tremendous amounts. Usually, if you were to make a house, I've seen a lot of people that would just grab some logs, some wood, and that's their wall design. So you can do that, obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you wanted to add a little bit more depth into it, you can go around doing this. So I've got these pillars on either side, and I'll show you the design for them in a minute, but I've got these pillars on either side, and then it goes in a layer. I've got this like almost wall feature going on down here. It then goes in another layer with some cobblestone and another like section as like base support for the building. It then goes in another layer, and you've got the actual wall behind that. And then obviously on top of that, I've just added a bunch of trapdoors. These gates, as you can see, I'm using these gates as wooden, like little miniature wooden supports.
We halen gewoon minimaal 10% besparing per huishouden ten opzichte van de jaarrekening van het jaar ervoor.
Het is misschien wel de grootste kans voor iedere ondernemer. Internet of Things.
For the holding up the logs, a really unique design as well. And so then I've got the log support going across there. I've got some stone coming across here to hold the next section. It's just full of, there's a lot of depth going on in it. It's constantly going in, constantly going out. It's just a really good way of taking your pre-existing house and just taking it to the next level, honestly. Adding depth to any build will help miles amount. You don't need this much detail.
place with bustling markets and around 33,000 people. Here you can find farms which grow things like dates and olives, and trees grow as far as the eye can see. Siwa has been permanently inhabited since the 10th millennium BCE, or for roughly 12,000 years. The city contains several archaeological sites and is even the site of an oracle temple for the Egyptian deity Amun. What's odd about Siwa is that it's located here, completely isolated in the Egyptian portion of the Sahara Desert. The nearest big city is 460 kilometers away in Alexandria, and the ocean at its closest is 260 kilometers away. This deep in the desert, Siwa receives only 9 inches of rainfall a year, and temperatures in the summer have reached a blistering 118.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Just outside the limits of Siwa, tremendous and imposing sand dunes linger, constantly threatening to advance. So, how can a place so deep in the desert be so rich with people, vegetation, and history? Well, as it turns out, Siwa isn't just a city, but rather an oasis, a fertile patch in an otherwise endlessly barren land. But what exactly is an oasis, and how do they form? In the past, desert oases have served a crucial role in trade and travel as hospitable stopping points wedged between vast expanses of sand and stone. In places like Siwa, merchants and traders could rest, resupply, and refill their water skins. Most oases will have freshwater springs or ponds above the surface, open to the air, and this is what allows both people and plants to inhabit the area. But a look from above reveals no river or even stream feeding into these ponds, and as I mentioned earlier, areas like this receive little to no rainfall annually. So where does this life-giving water come from then? Let's keep using Siwa as an example. While this land may receive just a few inches of rainfall a year, over a big enough area, a couple inches can add up to a huge amount of water, and you'll typically find an oasis at a low point in the desert. A look at an elevation map shows the Siwa oasis to be right in the middle of a depression beside the larger Qatar depression. In fact, most of the Siwa oasis lies at roughly 19 meters below sea level. So the Siwa and other oases are essentially funnels for all water from surrounding areas to flow into. But again, there aren't any rivers or streams on the surface to bring water to these places. So how does it get there? Well, beneath the surface of all land is an area where rainwater collects. We call this an aquifer. If it rains a lot, the upper reaches of the aquifer, called the water table, will rise. If it rains very little, the water table will drop. It's by taking advantage of underground aquifers that things like wells and irrigation systems work. Naturally, where the elevation of the earth is higher, so too will the water table be. So if you have areas of high elevation like towering sand dunes or hills, directly next to areas of low elevation like a depression, you can get spots like this where the water table nears or even exceeds the surface. At these places, water will seep from the ground and pool into bodies of water. Where there's water, there's life, and while most desert plants are short and dense, under the right conditions, they too can grow to be tall and lush. And there you have it, an oasis is formed. It helps to know also that the water table can be further altered by impermeable layers in the soil, such as rocks or dense layers of clay called hard pans. Because water cannot pass through these substances, its only choice is to move the water table upwards, and this could be another factor in bringing water to the surface, even if there's no depression. And that's all an oasis is. Light rains from a large enough area together through an underground aquifer, pulled by gravity, forming basically an underground river. Eventually, plants and animals will find these upwellings of water and grow to create a miniature ecosystem, a microcosm of rich life in an otherwise devoid desert. And if conditions remain quote-unquote favorable, an oasis can exist for thousands of years, virtually unchanged. In fact, in 2007, in the Siwa oasis, an early hominid footprint was discovered, fossilized in the rocks, with estimates for its age ranging as far back as 3 million years, illustrating just how long an oasis can remain intact while completely isolated from the outside world. Thanks for watching. I hope your curiosity is satisfied, but if not, I've got some more videos you can watch as well. Like always, if you enjoyed, please give this video a like, and if you want to keep seeing more videos like this, subscribe. I'll be back next week with another video. Thanks.
Ja, dat magische en onbekende noise cancelling. Wat is het nou precies en veel belangrijker, hoe klinkt het? Nou, dat laat ik je zo horen in een luidruchtige omgeving hier achter mij in de stationshal. Daarbij doe ik mijn microfoontje af, doe ik hem in mijn oorstelp, zet ik de...
Without clouds, about 6,000 stars are visible in the night. night sky from anywhere on Earth. This number is lower in areas of heavy light pollution, but for the most of human history, this is what we had to look up to. In earlier times, there were many ideas as to what the stars were. The Greeks saw constellations who were sentient, divine beings awarded with a place among the stars for some great deed done long ago. To the Paiute tribe who lived in the Great Basin of North America, stars were the children of the father sun and the mother moon, eaten every day by the light of the sun and nursed back to life by the love of the moon. In Chinese mythology, some stars represented actual people. One is Jingnu, the girl who weaves the clouds, and another is Niu Lang, the herdsman who cares for the cattle of the heavens. The two were in love, so the gods placed them on either side of the Milky Way to make sure they were never distracted from their duties. Only once a year, on the 7th day of the 7th month, the two lovers are allowed to meet when the birds in the sky will form a bridge across the Milky Way. To the Yakut tribe of Siberia, the stars are crystal lenses used by the gods to watch the earth. And for the Turk people of Central Asia, the sky was one big tent, and the stars were nothing more than small rips in it. Of course, we know now that all these stories are wrong, and in fact, stars are giant gas clouds glowing from the process of nuclear fusion billions of miles away. But of these ancient understandings of the stars, one remains true to this day. And no, it isn't zodiac readings, but navigation. Ancient travelers and modern sailors and pilots alike would use the stars to voyage through their lands and to discover new ones. So how did they do it? How do you navigate using the stars? Well, first, a quick look at some time-lapse photography will show that the stars are not static in our skies, but instead they streak across the sky as the Earth revolves. Using a moving star as a reference point is problematic, especially for long journeys, so you can't just pick any star in the sky and follow in its direction. The same problem is present for the sun and moon for navigation, as they will move across the sky in a similar way. And while many think they may be able to use the sun
Fuck. Fuck. Fucking Minecraft is gecrashed.